Hi guys, just wanted to give you a quick review of the movie Hancock. Uh, I read a lot of really negative reviews on this movie. People saying that the special effects were shoddy, people saying that Will Smith's acting was awful, that Charlize Theron's acting was terrible, people saying that the movie in general was just really, really, really bad. And I'd like to say that they're full of crap. This movie was fantastic. The only real problem I had with the movie was the special effects. The special effects were, in particular, the flying. You're going to see better flying in Smallville than you will in this movie. I personally think they should have put the kind of money they put into The Matrix Reloaded and Superman Returns and Iron Man for the flying, for Hancock, because that would have added a lot of really cool suspense and stuff, but they didn't, so that's okay. It doesn't take away from the story at all. The plotting to me was genius. A lot of people didn't like the last two-thirds, one-third of the movie, whereas I thought that the last two-thirds, one-third of the movie is where we really begin to see who John Hancock was. And this mystery of who is John Hancock kind of reveals itself, and that was awesome. The last third act, the last two-thirds third act was genius. It was true writing brilliance. I'm a comic book fan myself. I like all the superheroes: Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, the Avengers, the JLA, the Flash, all that other kind of stuff. Superman. I don't know if I said that already. But it's really kind of nice to see a superhero movie where it's not tied down by any of the, precedent. It pretty much, the writers and the director can take it in any direction they want. And that was kind of cool to see. I'm not going to lie. Will Smith makes a fantastic superhero. He does a really, really, really great job in this movie. But what happens is there's an entire mythos, an entire mythology that happens in this movie that we don't really see in a lot of the other movies. I like Spider-Man and I like the Hulk, but there's no mythology. The mythology is very shallow. You get some, but not a whole lot. Whereas here we see Hancock. Well, I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet, but it's got like Superman-esque mythology. I mean, this is in-depth, very long mythology, almost Norse and Greek god mythology-like. So there's a lot they can do with this, and if they didn't have a sequel, in my mind, they would be foolish. So I hope they have a sequel, because there's a lot they can do with this character. There's a lot they can do with this superhero, and I guarantee you, mark my words, I guarantee you there will be a comic book series based on Hancock. It will happen. There's just too much story there for them to not do anything with it. But at the same time, the movie was fantastic. The acting was great. Charlize Theron, and a lot of people didn't like Charlize Theron's acting in this movie. I don't know where they're basing their idea for this off of. It was amazing. It was just really, really, really good. She's very quiet, but you can tell she's hiding a secret in the first part, and then the second part where she just kind of lets loose, it's like, holy crap, this is amazing. So she was very, very good. Jason Bateman was also very good. In my opinion, he was probably the weaker part of the whole team thing. His acting was very good. It was just, I didn't really I understood the character of what the character was going for, what the writers were going for Hancock when it came to Jason Bateman's character Ray, but at the same time I thought that it was kind of weak, so I wasn't too impressed with Jason Bateman. But Charlize Theron and Will Smith were awesome. I mean, this movie is it's a true, in my opinion, it's a true superhero movie. And it really allows for freedom, because you don't have all the comic book people throwing a fit about this thing or that thing. So, in my opinion, the movie was very good. So please go out and see it, support this film, so that way they do a sequel. Because the mythology within this plot line, within the story of this movie, is endless. I mean, there is so much you can do with it. A lot of people say, well, this is stupid and blah blah blah, and it's like, you know what? You could say it's stupid if you want, but when you really look at the timeline of Superman, he's an alien. And the only reason why we really give any, consequential thought to Superman at all is because he's been an American icon for 80 years or so, 70, 80 years. So I would say be careful about judging the mythology, because the mythology in this movie, the mythology for this superhero Hancock, is going to go a long way, and it's very fantastic. Like I said before, in my opinion, it's Superman-esque with the mythology. So if not anything else, pay attention to the mythology that they're trying to weave into this character Hancock. And I honestly think that if you go into this movie with a really bad attitude, like this is going to be awful, terrible, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. If you're expecting the Hulk or Iron Man or Spider-Man or the Dark Knight, you're going to be really disappointed, because that's not what it is. It's not the Dark Knight. There are no supervillains. It's just about this guy. It's an origin story, basically. It's an origin story, and instead of focusing on an origin story through a supervillain, they just do the origin story. What's this guy about? What's Hancock about? Where is he from? How did he get to be the way he is? And so on and so forth. So, what are you gonna do? In my opinion, it's a nice change from all the stuff that you usually see, but a lot of people aren't gonna like it because there's no supervillain. So, the only thing I'm gonna say to that is just get over it, because it's not what the movie was made for. It wasn't made to be just like all the other comic book movies. It was made to look different. This movie is funny. There are some very funny parts in it. The only thing I was really upset about was that the majority of the funny parts you see in the trailer. So they pretty much lay out their hand when it comes to the funnies on the trailer, and that's it. And that's pretty much all you get. So, not that that's a big deal for me. Another problem I had with the movie was the dialogue. Although Will Smith and Charlize Theron did a great job, the dialogue seemed at times choppy and uncomfortable, and I think that they really needed to do some reworking on the dialogue, on the script a little bit, and how things were worded and said, and when things were done. If anyone else but Will Smith and Charlize Theron had done this movie, it would be terrible. So it was really the acting of those two actors that made this movie what it was. Because, in my opinion, the dialogue was weak. The storyline, the plot line was fantastic, but the script writing, the dialogue between the characters was pretty weak. So they have, I think, when they do a sequel, which I hope they hopefully will do a sequel, when they do a sequel they need to work on the dialogue, because the dialogue was a little uncomfortable at times. So, other than that, movie fantastic. Go see it. If I had to give a rating, I don't give ratings. Usually I just say go or don't go. If I had to give a rating, I'd say it's probably a 8 out of 10. It's not, like I said, it's not going to be like Iron Man, which was a 10 out of 10, or a Hulk, which was like a 9.5 out of 10. Spider-Man, I wasn't too impressed with the last Spider-Man movie. That was probably a 7 for me. So Hancock is much better than Spider-Man 3 in my opinion. Just because of the plot line and the action and all of that kind of stuff. So, also beware, do not bring your kids to this movie. It was borderline PG-13, almost R, and there's a lot of good reasons for that. The F word is used, more than once. The A word is used on a constant basis throughout the entire movie, which, when you get to understand why, it's funny. But it's definitely PG-13 for a reason. Do not bring your children to this movie. This is a superhero made for teenagers and adults, or young adults and adults. This is not a superhero made for kids. So do not bring your kids. Leave them at home for this movie. That's all I gotta say. So I hope you guys go out and see the movie and enjoy it. Alright? Peace out.